Recorded live from random secret studios all over the Delaware Valley and the East Coast.
I'm the capo. He's the prez.
And this is Sons of Ben, the pod. Well, Adam, welcome to episode number, and I'm going to give you the best person that wears this number. Not those other guys, but this is episode number Casper Shabilko. Number 23. Don't think of those other guys that wear that number. Don't even think about that.
Rodney Buford.
Yeah, Rodney Buford. So to honor someone like club legend like us, Casper, we brought in the big guns. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh, big guns here. So this week's guest, and I'm going to say maybe now, a Union legend, but we're going to explain why he just earned Union legend during the pod. So you want to stay tuned for that. We have got, and he's going to have to help me with everything, Mr. Richard Leibovitch, Vice Chairman and alternate governor. And I'm going to say AKA one of the team owners, but I still don't know what the alternate governor part is. So that's probably one of the things, the first question I'm going to ask. Welcome and thank you for coming on. And what is an alternate governor?
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Delighted to be here. At the Board of Governors meetings, each team is allowed to have two representatives. And so we've got a governor and then an alternate governor. So I'm basically the number two guy. So Jay's our governor, and I managed to get myself into the room with the big boys, and I get to sit there and watch them all debate things.
You're like the backup quarterback. You're the most popular person in the room. That's good.
No, it's not even that. Being number two is always the best, right? Because the tough things, leave it to Jay, and I get to do the fun stuff.
That was Adam Silver back in the day. It was just like when David Stern got on stage, he got booed for the first round of everything, and then Adam Silver comes on, everyone's like, yes, oh God, sanctuary from the other dude, yes, I love it.
That's right.
So just a little bit of background for everybody. Rich's background is McGill alumni. You hold a Master's of Philosophy from Cambridge. That's true? That's just not Wikipedia.
I don't know anything about philosophy, but they put the name philosophy in every degree of theirs, so so that's what I got. But I studied economics at Cambridge. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay, and then currently you're the founder of RL Capital, correct?
That's right.
And I guess the question is because you're rarely new to the group. 2.5, 3 years? Is that
exactly
my mouth?
Exactly.
So I guess my question is, where did your interest and love of the sport and your interest in how did the Philadelphia get on your radar as something that you wanted to, associate yourself with and invest in?
Sure. It's an interesting story. I think I've always had a dream of being involved in sports. I guess everybody, as they grow up as a kid, hope to be an athlete. As a slightly pudgy Jewish guy, there was no chance I was going to make any team. So I figured my only chance would maybe be one day, if I do well in business, I may be able to get a sliver of ownership somewhere. So, I've always had that as a bit of a dream on the back end. But about 5 years ago, I ran into a friend of mine who works at the NBA, and she introduced me to someone who said, hey, have you ever thought about being involved with a team called the Philadelphia Union? So at the time, interestingly enough, the only time I had heard of the Philadelphia Union was, I think it was back in 2013 when the U.S. Open golf tournament was at Marion. And they used the Union parking lot as the sort of alternate parking lot. And I remember parking my car there to go to the U.S. Open. I remember seeing this beautiful stadium on the water and hearing about the Philadelphia Union. I knew they were a Major League Soccer team, and I knew Major League Soccer was on the rise. But I never gave it another thought. But when I was approached and they said, hey, there's an opportunity here to get involved with a Major League Soccer team in Philadelphia, the Union. It rang a bell from that one time I'd gone to the U.S. Open. And I was curious. So my wife is from Philadelphia. She's from Northeast Philly. And I am in a family of sports crazed fans. And, we spend all of our weekends in Philly watching games. And so I was really curious. So I got in touch with Jay and I went to a game. And I was really blown away by the atmosphere, blown away by the stadium, and the excitement of soccer. Until you see it live, I don't think you can appreciate just how great a sport it is. And I started going to games. I remember watching the Sons of Ben movie, and I was really taken by the passion that how the fans started it. It really got me excited. And so, I kept talking to people. I kept meeting people in the organization. Everybody seemed so nice. Everybody seemed so excited about building something special in Philadelphia. And, from my perspective, Major League Soccer is the rising sport in this country. It's the one with the most potential. It's the world's game. It's exciting. It's fast paced. And so all the pieces sort of came together. It was cheaper than buying the Sixers. And so, hell, after it took a good year before I finally got comfortable, and they got comfortable with me, and we were able to get a deal done.
That's awesome, because we had no idea how you came involved. I was like, oh, maybe him and Jay knew each other through real estate deals or something like that. So I was always curious, because we've met a couple of times, and I'm going, how did he get involved? And you never know, just because it's not something that's published on the website, and there's not a great insight into the ownership group all the time throughout professional sports. So again, we really appreciate you coming on. And I guess this is the question that everybody wants to know. Adam's on the edge of his seat. So let's get to it. Apparently, you guys have gotten one more person that went through the same experience as you did and wanted to buy into the Philadelphia Union. And I think his name, Adam, correct me, is it spelled Kevin Durant? Is that's the guy's name?
Durant.
Oh, Durant.
It's French. It's French.
So we heard you are the person that pretty much got the ball rolling on this. So how can you tell us how Kevin Durant became a member of the ownership group for the Philadelphia Union?
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit of the story. I was watching TV in my living room one day, and I see this headline go on the bottom of ESPN saying that Kevin Durant was in talks with DC United, and that the talks had sort of fallen apart. And that was the first time I had any clue that, Kevin was interested in being an owner of a soccer team. And so, I saw it on TV. I thought nothing of it. And then a friend of ours who happens to work for the NBA mentioned to me again, hey, did you see Kevin Durant is going to be an owner of DC United? And I was like, wow, okay. And then following that, the same person who introduced me to Jay, who got me involved in the team, we were on a call together. And again, it came up for a third time. And they said, Kevin Durant was thinking of investing in DC United, but that didn't work out. And so we said, well, why don't we approach him? And the story goes, and I better give credit where credit is due, otherwise my wife will never talk to me. But my wife happened to be friends with Kevin Durant's business partner's wife, and our kids went to school together. So Rich Kleiman, who is Kevin's business partner and runs 35 Ventures, happens to be somebody that I knew through my wife, and we knew each other socially. And so at least I had a phone number to call, because you just don't Google Kevin Durant's phone number and it comes up. So at least I had that. And so I gave him a call. I remember I was on a business trip in Orlando, and I get out of my meeting and I say to him, hey, I saw that DC United's not working out. Any interest in talking to us? And, his answer was, well, this must be like kismet, because, things happen for a reason. Yeah, we were very interested in getting involved in soccer, but for whatever reason, it didn't really go forward in DC. But sure, we'd love to talk to you. We'd love to learn more. And that's really how it got started. And from there, we had a meeting in New York at my apartment building, hushed in secrecy. All the doormen were on, ultra high alert. We had like a security guy at the door, making sure nobody could come in. And we had we had about a 2-hour meeting with Jay and Rich and Kevin, and we talked about the team, our aspirations for the team, our goals in terms of the Philadelphia Union, not only as a soccer team but as a member of the community. How the history of how we ended up in Chester, how we built a stadium in Chester, and all of I think he came in initially thinking about, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to be involved in a professional sports ownership? But it very quickly pivoted to him being really excited about combining that with helping the community and using his status and using his resources to really help a community like Chester. And so, a lot of people wonder, well, why Philadelphia? But the reality is, he's from DC. He plays in New York. Philadelphia is right in the middle. Makes a lot of sense. And we're in a community that, could really benefit from, his influence and the influence of the union. So all of that, I think, made it very attractive to him. And that's how we got the ball rolling.
Yeah, that to me was the second home run of the season for the business side of the team. The first one being you guys partnering up with the folks at Subaru, because after we met, we had with the Sons of Ben a discussion with, the marketing side, and what a great, I've said it on the pod, what a great organization. And then you go right on top of that with Kevin Durant and the 35 Ventures and what they want to do. And, Kevin's from a place called Prince George's County in Maryland. And if anybody knows, they always say, oh, he's a DC native. Prince George's County cannot be any different from DC. It's kind of the equivalent of Chester and Philadelphia. So I think a city like Chester probably really, really tugs at the heartstrings for someone like Kevin Durant. So I think it's going to be great. But I guess that's my question for you is, what do you think this means, for the team, for the organization, and even just the ownership group? Like, does this mean you guys all get courtside seats at the Brooklyn Nets games? Like, do you get to rebound for them during warmups, or what does this all mean?
I hope I get the chance, but I think it's going to be great for our organization and our ownership group to have someone of Kevin's experience, both as a professional athlete, as a star, as someone who knows about what it takes to win championships. I think to help all of us, get that sort of, championship mentality. He's a guy who's done it. I'm a wannabe, but he's really the guy who's done it. And it's interesting during the break. I don't know if you heard, but Jim Curtin had all of the players on the team watch The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary, and it was required watching. And obviously that's because it's all about that winning mindset, that hunger, that passion. And, certainly we want to have it throughout the organization, from the players all the way to the ownership group. That's how we're going to build a championship team. So having Kevin in the room, guiding us, helping us in that way, that's going to be great. I think from a community standpoint, that's going to be even greater. I mean, the first sort of area of connection was really when we started talking about the Philadelphia Union Foundation, which, as you may know, has been revitalized in the last year. We got that rebooted, restarted with a new board, and we're raising a lot of money, and we're doing a lot of good things and good projects in the community. And, Kevin Durant has his foundation. And the idea of being able to connect both of our foundations and do some good, and then you put Subaru into the mix, and that's what they're about. And, you might say, what do Subaru and Kevin Durant have in common? Well, I think what they have in common is this connection to community. And that's what resonated with both of these groups in terms of partnering with the Philadelphia Union. And I think that this is something that we really want to develop and work on as an organization, how we can take our success on the field and build it off the field, and how we can really help the community of Chester and really do good in the community at the same time as having fun building a championship team.
Now we do have a selfish, and Adam, you can verify this. We've got a selfish request of when will Mr. Durant be able to A, be on the pod, and B, be in the river end leading the chants?
First off, hold on. He can come to my stand. Him leading the chants, I don't know if he's earned that yet. I mean, look, you put a couple dollars here, you could have put a couple dollars there. I respect the hustle, but this is a craft I got going here, man. This is my livelihood. Kevin gets up there, feels, rejuvenized. He's like, maybe I'll just retire from the NBA and be a capo now. And then I'm out here on the streets, kind of going to the second division. Logan, if Union 2 wants me. Come on now, man. Don't do that to me, Maddie. Don't do that to me.
All right. Well, listen, you can stay on the stand. Kevin can stand next to you. You guys will be the same height.
Yeah, we'll be equally as tall. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be great. So.
There'd be no need for him to ever need a ladder for anything.
Needless to say, we're excited to meet him, and if he would grace us on near a stand near Adam, if he wants to launch a smoke bomb up, we'll make sure that happens for him.
For me, this is like on a personal level, I love this move, not only because I'm just a fan of the NBA and, I appreciate greatness like the next guy, but this to me is a legitimization of in the last 3 to 4 months, the Union have legitimized themselves in a way where 2 or 3 years ago, we were not having the same type of conversation. The whole process of the Union, and we can be fair about this, has been an uphill battle since Jump Street. Putting a team in Chester, it was not the easiest thing in Universe to do, even with the best circumstances. And obviously there was a plan. That plan didn't come to fruition, and we're still, making that uphill battle. Building a practice facility from scratch, all of that put an 8 ball behind the Union. And to see having a sponsor, God bless Talent Energy for who they were and how they sponsored it, but that's not a name that no one knows who that is outside of the Lehigh Valley, honestly. So when it came down to it, there was a lot of things about the Union that you just looked at and you're just like, this is kind of peculiar. But now having Subaru as your main sponsor, having a guy like Kevin Durant invest his time into it, have the display of soccer that we had right before the break happened, all of these things led to a more legitimization of the Union as a player in the city. And the amount of text messages, the amount of phone calls I've gotten from not even casuals, people who have never seen a ball get kicked in their life, to be like, so what's going on in Chester? Just off of these types of moments. I really want to stress on how big the last 4 to 5 months have been for this club. It's been a really massive leap up for this club.
And there's a second part of it too, with being able to be proud of the team with how much commitment they have to the community and to the area, and seeing all these things and seeing that it's more than just somebody buying into the team. It has all these things along with it. And same thing with the Subaru deal. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that a sponsor of the stadium is now going to get involved in the community and get involved with the area. And just to be a fan, and from our perspective, we could be proud to be Philadelphia Union fans, and we know that we're trying to build something more than just soccer and on the field and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're doing it step by step. It feels really good to have these couple of visible, tangible steps under our belt. Now there's a lot of sort of less visible steps that we have to put in place before we can get sort of to that next level of visibility. We talk a lot about, okay, we have a nice stadium by the water. We have this interesting, this great practice facility that we took this, old industrial building, converted into a very cool state-of-the-art training facility. We've got the Wharf building, which if you've ever gone inside, is just an amazing, amazing space. But we now have 100 acres around the campus. We recently bought 12 additional acres, and we have a plan to keep investing and to keep building and to keep improving. And we have a ways to go. We know that, but step by step, we're putting all the pieces in place. And more importantly, it takes a lot of people to make all this happen, and we're putting those pieces step by step. People like Subaru, like Kevin. they all can sort of pitch in and help us make this a reality. This team was started during a very difficult, trying period, 2008. That was not an easy time, and boy, it took our economy, a decade to recover from that. We're finally getting there, and now, boom, we get hit with COVID and all of that. Definitely we've had to roll with the ups and downs, but the team's on a good footing. The one thing that I've always found in the last couple of years since I've joined is how everybody is sort of rowing in the same direction. From the players to the front office to the owners. We're all very, very much in sync with what it is we're trying to accomplish. We want to win. I mean, we want to put a winning team. Being okay is not good enough for us anymore. We want to win. And we also want to be a team that we can be incredibly proud of. For me, one of the things that gets me excited is when I go to one of these owner meetings and someone will come from another team and say, hey, I really love what you guys are doing out there. You guys are really, you guys are a dangerous team. I love hearing that. That to me is the highest compliment. And we just want to build on that. We want to go from, you guys are pretty good, but you don't spend a lot of money, to what, you guys are top notch. You guys are really first rate. So it's a journey. We're getting there. We're going step by step.
As a proud resident of Wayne, Pennsylvania, I am so happy that you created a world-class academy right in my hometown. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's something. I'm always proud when they're just like, oh, yeah, I heard about this YSC. I'm like, you mean the old Wayne swim and tennis? Yes, sir. They just making the finest soccer players these days. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's worth saying, when Matt asked me earlier how I got involved, I remember before signing on, I spent a day at the YSC Academy and the Union Academy, and I got a tour of the school, and I met some of the players, and I saw a training session. And I was so blown away by the culture that had been created over there, from everybody there wearing Union jerseys as they go to class to the big signs in the gym, with Union players. It really made me appreciate the culture that was being built over there. And, certainly, our goal is to, bring that to all of Philadelphia. If we can have that same kind of pride, and then I think we're going to be a great team.
And I can back you up. When I was named president of the Sons of Ben, I got an invite to go to the academy, and I had a completely different idea of what it was. And I remember walking in, and you're seeing all the flags. I'm going, what's with the flags? They're like, oh, they're the flags of the countries of the kids that come here. And I'm going, wait, I thought you just got like suburban kids from the Philadelphia area, and their parents paid tuition and they got to train. And they're like, oh no, they explained where they can recruit from. They explained where these kids come from, what their background is, and, the training. And they're like, listen, we know not every kid is going to become a pro player, but we want them to go on to the next level of, say, college, and not have to pay for college and just become good human beings. So going through that, if anyone, and we were going to have an academy day, Sons of Ben Academy Day, where we were going to watch them play and do tours. Hopefully, when this is all over, because I really would like our members to get the opportunity to see what's going on, because as a fan, you just think the academy's supposed to churn out players for the team, where you really see their mission is just churning out good citizens of the world. So that's great. But I do have a question. It was going to be later in this, but you mentioned it, so I'm going to ask. Any idea on the current status of the waterfront development? Because I've gone to a lot of the town meetings, just because, we're all vested in this. We want to see what's going on, and I just didn't know. I think June they were supposed to, or end of June, early July, the plan was supposed to be unveiled. Did COVID put a stop to this, or are they still on track, or do we have any idea what might be going on?
Yeah, I don't have any up-to-date details on exactly what the status is. What I can tell you is that, it is a front burner initiative for us at the Union. We want to develop the waterfront. We want to add to what we have, and it's going to happen. We definitely had some good momentum going into the month of March when COVID kind of put a halt to things. So I think it's a matter of hopefully being able to pick it back up when everything reopens, when government sort of can focus on on issues like this again. Right now they're a little distracted, but this is not going to go away. I mean, there's a commitment with Subaru to building it out, and they want to do good things in terms of the waterfront, and we do as well. And it's just part of our plans to kind of put really two things together. You've got on the one hand the wharf and the office, and then you've got the stadium, and then the practice fields. And it only makes sense that we, our goal is to make this a 7-day-a-week destination. This shouldn't just be a game day event where people come on a Saturday or a Sunday. It's got to be 7 days a week that people are coming there, and our hope is to be able to build on what's there, and have a reason for people to come every day of the week, and to have people drive to Chester and come drive to the stadium, to Subaru Park, and participate in the activities that are going on there.
And it's something I'll this is my little behind the curtain kind of moment, because I've attended a couple of the meetings and met with the firm that you guys contracted to do the plans, and they are not leaving one stone unturned. But some of their plans are, and people don't realize this, 291, you fly down that thing. You're doing 50, 60 miles an hour, and the residents of Chester, it's not feasible for them to safely walk across that street to enjoy the riverfront. And that's one of the plans, is how to let the residents of their own city be able to enjoy the waterfront. So it's one of those things that people never think about. They just think, oh, the team's building, they want to build a shopping mall or a casino, and that really isn't the case. They're developing the land so not only people from the city of Philadelphia and the suburbs can go and enjoy it, but it's also for the residents of Chester. They can enjoy the waterfront too, because it is dangerous to get across that street if you're just walking. So I wanted to let people know that this firm has been doing a fantastic job so far. So that's why I was just curious, how's it going? Because this is something that, as much as we keep saying it's been 11 years, we're waiting for a cup. It's been 11 to 13 years, and we're waiting for Chester to get developed like the original plan was in 08 before everything happened. So
Yeah.
we're excited, and we're rooting for you.
Sure.
Adam,
Well, it's an ambitious project, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And we're definitely having to juggle a lot of things. We on the one hand want to put a championship team on the field. We want to invest in our grounds and make it a welcoming, warm, beautiful place, add additional attractions around us, and also support our academy and keep building that. So there's a lot of very ambitious projects. All of them are worthy, all of them are great, and we don't want to drop any of them. We want to do them all. So we got to just sort of push them all along together.
Can I add two more? Just,
Yes.
like little small ones. They ain't that big. Ain't that big. Well, the first one's kind of big, but So you figure out something with that SEPTA and find some way to get these people to this stadium in a way that is convenient. Because here's the gift and the curse of Philadelphia. We can bemoan SEPTA as much as we want to do, because look, they're slow at times and they're sometimes not convenient. However, I've been to other parts of the world where they don't have public transportation and it's anarchy. Just traffic-wise, it's pure anarchy. But the number one complaint I've ever gotten from anyone who's just a casual is just like, getting to Chester is difficult. Not even just it's dangerous, it's just difficult. Just getting to the stadium physically without using a car, without paying for parking, is difficult. So that would be obviously priority one. And I know you guys are looking into it because you have to. That's something that would be an infinite game changer, because the fact that we put 4 teams in a 3-block radius of each other down there in South Philadelphia, gave them one train stop, changed the universe for everyone, and now we've all become super lazy and think a train is supposed to get us to sports no matter what. Second, and this is the super easy one, you guys need a downtown store. I don't know what it is. It just the new fashion district that they built in Center City has so many vacant spaces for it. You need a downtown team store like every other major club on the planet Earth, because I think that would be just the simplest advertising piece in the universe, and it would change so many games, you know?
So I agree with you 100%. And in fact, when I first joined the ownership group, that was the first suggestion that I had for the team. And I led the charge with Tim, and we started looking at locations. We looked at, I remember, we got into, detailed conversations about doing exactly that. We did get sidetracked with a few other things, but that remains to me such an obvious one. And especially now, as you say, there's so much retail available. And it's not just the store. What I'd love to have is a place where when we have away games, Union fans who live in the city can get together, watch games. You can have parties there. There's so many ways of energizing the space. So I'm a huge fan. But I'd love to have a bar, restaurant with a store, with foosball games, soccer themed. It doesn't even have to be just about the Union. Let's make it about soccer, right? Let's watch on Saturday mornings. Let's watch Liverpool there, whatever.
Not Liverpool.
You can watch them. I didn't say you have to cheer for them.
We'll watch them while Chelsea plays them, Matt. It's fine. It'll be okay.
Okay, good.
What I've gathered from this is that Adam needs to be brought on as a consultant for the ownership group.
They knew that though. Look, I don't know when they were waiting for them to be able to afford me, but yeah, that was the thing about that. No, but like legitimately, and this is the thing about this is like when me and Matt talked about making this podcast in the first place, we were talking about how all of us are on Twitter and all of us have virtually the same 7.5 thoughts. And they just kind of get flown into the universe, and they don't have a voice. They don't get funneled. But, like, every person I know is talking about, like, yeah, man, a little bit of a downtown presence would be so big. And just these little types of things. And it's just, like, to hear an individual like yourself say that, that's invigorating. Like, that's good. That's what we wanted to know.
Absolutely. Like, and you may recall, we've done some outside events at the Piazza. Right?
Yep.
Well, we looked at a space in the Piazza to maybe open something there. Northern Liberties area. A lot of our fans are from there. So it's very high, at least on my list of wants. And just so you know, it's something that we have been looking at. So it's a matter of just finding right place, right time, right partners, and get it done.
And
I'm pleased, Matt. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It's proven to work because Kansas City has it. They have a presence in Kansas City, Missouri, because the team is really outside in Kansas. So it's almost a similar situation where it's a drive to get out to see a Sporting KC game, but they still have that presence in Kansas City. And I can tell you, my girlfriend's from Kansas City, so she's got family there. It works, so it's good. Now, Adam, this is a question for you. And then both you and Richard can tell the story. But Adam Booth, where are Richard's keys?
So, and I like to point out that Richard is the nicest human on the planet Earth. Like, legitimately, I have never been more horrified for a sequence of events, and it got perpetually worse by, like, when I went up the chain of, like, who was the person of which I stole these keys of? And they're just like, oh, you don't know? And I was just like, no. And they're like, so back at my favorite venue in the Yes. I even remember that keychain too. Yes. Okay. So back at one of my favorite venues, which actually is now becoming Red Bull Arena, only because Harrison, New Jersey, I see you. You're doing a little something there, we got 5 guys there. They're doing a little something, and I see you. I hope Chester does something a little similar to that. That's kind of what my goals are. But, I kind of enjoy going up there, especially since it's a really short drive. But anyway, we were playing Red Bull, and it was the beginning of, like, about the first couple minutes of the match were about to start, and we have our banners. Like, the Sons have been carrying around a lot of banners, but the problem is arenas don't really, like make it conducive for banners to be put places. So moral of the story is we had these banners that we now had to put holes in so that we could use zip ties to tie them to railings so that we could show we were the Sons of Ben and all that fun stuff. We don't have, like, they don't let you bring things that usually can stab holes into things into arenas. So I don't have anything that's like strong enough. No one does. And I'm just like, does anyone have a pair of keys? And Rich, who's just casually sitting there, just like decked out in Sons of Ben gear or Union gear, and he's like, I got some keys. You need these? I'm like, yes, please, thank you. So I go down, I punch the holes in like 4 or 5 banners. Me and Ryan Bross put zip ties through all these banners, and then I pocket these keys for reasons unbeknownst to me or anyone else on the planet. I just put them in my pocket, and I'm just like, soccer, go in front of me. Long story short, I think we lost 2-0 that night, but it was just like, it was a fun game. I loved it regardless, but it was like, I didn't come up with this with the bus. I have weird versions of anxiety when it comes to capoing sometimes, so I like to drive myself. You know, I like to do a little meditation in the car, listen to some calming music, some like babbling brooks, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I park not near the stadium, so I don't pay for parking. It's a double whammy. Anyway, so ultimately, I'm like 4 or 5 blocks away from Red Bull Arena. I dig into my pocket, and I'm just like, these feel funny. And then I pull them out. Oh, no. Not only are these not my keys, I'm like, okay, who is the gentleman I took it from? I don't recognize the face. Oh, no. Okay, call every person I know. I call Matt, who wasn't even at the game, mind you.
Nope.
I call Matt, who's like half asleep back in Philadelphia, like, I have no idea. Call Jess. Call Jess, who's on the bus, Jess Gutzler, our vice president, and she's like, they have no idea whose keys these are. Yells on the bus, anyone knows who keys these are? No one comes up. So Matt's like, all right, I'm going to call Tim.
Oh, no. Let me cut. Look,
Cut in.
Here's the bad part about being president of Sons of Ben. You'll get phone calls at 10:30 at night from the front office. And so we're coming. I know there's a Red Bull game. I'm watching on my sofa, and I get the Tim McDermott phone at 10:30. I'm like, oh crap, somebody's bleeding. Something horribly wrong that Tim and I are going to have a 2-hour conversation, and I'm not up for it. And then he goes, do you know who had keys? Because it's one of the members of the ownership group. I'm like, oh, Tim, you lost your boss's keys? I don't know, man. So Adam and I already talked, so I actually knew he had the keys. So then, go ahead, take it, Adam.
Look, man, First off, you don't want to be the one frantically calling, like, I stole someone's keys. And it's just like, I'm leaving a horrible impression for, like, the Sons of Ben in this man's mouth. He's just like, so they're just thieves, I guess. I don't know. But it's just, so I take these keys, right, and I get a call, and, like, I get on the phone with Tim, and then Tim patches Rich in, and Rich is just like, hey, so you got my keys, right? I'm like, yes. Oh, my God, yes. I actually sat in my car in Harrison, New Jersey for an extra 45 minutes and was like, because I didn't know what to do. I thought if I drove back to Chester and this was a person who lived in Albuquerque, this would be the worst thing ever. So I needed to just stay put. This was the best case scenario. And Rich is just like, it's okay, it's fine, I got a spare key, it's good. I'm like, I will drive to Manhattan right now. I will take the Lincoln Tunnel. I will sit in traffic for 45 minutes. I will get you your keys back, sir. That's only a $50 toll. I will do it. I will make it happen. And he's like, no, it's cool. You know, just mail it to the union. They'll mail it to me. It's fine. We'll get it. It's fine. And I'm just like, thank you. And then so Rich shows up to an event like a couple of months later at the Xfinity Live, and I just look at him like, oh my God, hi, I'm sorry, did you get your keys? You get your, and then, so I think that like I'm already the worst person in the universe, and then he was just like, yeah, so like my child was just casually, he's like, Dad, are we gonna go home tonight? And I was just like, oh no. Like, I caused peril. Like, I caused peril and possible trauma. And I was just like...
Well, the funny part is that, you know, it was just like a series of unfortunate events. Because, you know, if you'll remember the game, you know, it wasn't a late game. I think it was like a 7 p.m. It was done by 9 o'clock, right? But then, you know, the Red Bull security must have kept us there for like 45 minutes before they let us out, right? We were getting antsy. right?
There was a reason for them keeping us for 45 minutes, but we're not going to talk about that reason. We're just going to
Okay.
leave that alone.
I'll just assume that they were just being, good security people. And
they were actually, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, finally, and at this point, I had no idea that I didn't have my keys. So then, I live in Manhattan, so I, took another 45 minutes or an hour to get to Manhattan. And then when we finally get in front of my house, I realized, oh no, I don't have the keys. So now I'm with my mother and my littlest child and my wife. And of course, it's the wife I'm most nervous about. But they're sitting on the stoop, and I'm like, oh God, where's the key? So my mother says, oh, I think I've got a spare key of yours at my apartment. All you got to do is drive me home, and I'll give you the key. So I said, great, no problem. So I drive my mother uptown for 45 minutes while my wife and son sit on the stoop. I get a key, come back 45 minutes later. So now another hour and a half has gone by over the other hour and a half to get there. So now it's already midnight or something. And of course, the key doesn't work. It's some old key probably from when I lived, in Boston in 1996 or something like that. So now I'm like, great. So now it's 12:30 at night. My wife's all pissed. My son, who's 11 years old, is tired, and I don't have a key. So then the only person I knew had a key was in Queens. So finally, we put the keys in an Uber car from Queens that arrived 45 minutes after that. So anyway, the moral of the story is we got into the house. We got to bed at 1:30 in the morning, after a 7 p.m. game.
I feel super, super bad about this, but I can almost guarantee you me driving the keys to Manhattan would have taken less time than all of this.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee that, but I actually had to leave for a minute because the shame became too great when you drove your mom uptown. I was just like, oh no, he drove his mom to Washington Heights for this? This is terrible.
I was starting to sweat just because I have family in the Northeast, and I would never want to anger a female from the Northeast Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because they don't end you; they torture you. So
this now solidifies you being the nicest man in the universe, because you could have just said that Mammon effort on that podcast. Absolutely not. Oh my God, no. But yeah, that is the world famous how I stole an owner's keys.
And that's just one of the reasons, I'm saying Richard is a Union legend. Now, Devin, we got a little bit of housekeeping, right? So the famous sound effect. Let's remember our sponsors, our friends. And Richard, we apologize. Before COVID, we would do this in a studio, and we would have one of the breweries that's Friends of the Sons of Ben. So Yards, 2SP, right in Aston, Pennsylvania, right up, and the Larimer, which is all part of that campus, are all friends of the pod. So they provide beer, and then we get to have beers with the guests. So next time we're all back together, we'll make sure you get to the tailgate, and we'll make sure we have a beer to celebrate you being on the pod. But just want to remind everybody, Yards, 2SP, the Larimer, they're all open. They're all doing curbside pickup. Their outside tables are open. So go support those guys because they're the best. And once we start doing viewing parties, we need their help because we go through a lot of beer.
The Latimer should have been a great example on how quickly Chester would be a very viable thing for us, because minute that place opened, we flocked. The amount of people who just said, "You mean there's a bar here?" And it was just, that was it. It didn't care that it was literally someone's garage that we were all posting up, and we were like, yes.
Oh, that is the
for
after-game spot. I mean, where else but Philadelphia Union Sports do you sit there? Because this doesn't happen with the Phillies or the Eagles, where after a game, you can go to this small brewery, have beers with your friends to talk about the game, and then Hall of Fame Ring of Honor legend Sebastian Latou walks in to drink some beers with you. Mike Schmidt's not walking into, Xfinity Live and having beers with you. Ron Jaworski might.
Jaworski would totally
do
that.
Nobody else is going to do
in
that.
In soul gear of a team that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But speaking of beers, Adam, Drunken Union Zoom meeting this Friday again. Richard, this is something. It was a couple Sons of Ben and just Union fans. Every Friday they set up a Zoom call for just a happy hour, 7:30 every Friday, and the list of people that have been on this thing has been insane. Last week was Casper Shabilko, which is great. Kai Wagner's been on. Alexi Lalas has been on.
Hold on.
Both
Did you forget?
hooligans.
Did you forget Jimmy Conrad? Jimmy Conrad was on last week.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy Conrad was on last week. I mean,
we've had legends show up on this.
Yeah, it's been insane the amount of people. Like Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer holds court during this thing. This is his Super Bowl. So it's crazy. So if you're interested, just get on Twitter, look for Our Union, at Our Union, and you just have to like their post and they'll send you the Zoom invite and check it out.
Wait, quick PSA. So hey guys, I wasn't on the call last week, but I heard that y'all got a little talky over each other. So maybe a little more respectful in the chat. Maybe some push to talk action next time around, so everyone doesn't talk over each other for 2 hours. That'd be fun. I don't know. I got thoughts. Bye now.
Yeah, it's with the amount of drinking that goes on, then people start talking over each other in the Zoom meeting. But it gets, I like to get in there for the first hour and then leave. Yeah, it is. Next thing, the membership kits for the members out there. We know during the season, you just come by the tailgate, pick it up. We're going to do a drive-through. So next Saturday, the 27th, from 3:30 to 6 or 3 to 6, come by the tailgate lot, and a lot of us volunteers will be there so you can get your kit with the pin and everything else. So we just wanted to let you know you can email Molly. Her info's on the Sons of Ben site to get any more info, but literally just drive up in your car, tell us who you are, we'll bring it to you. Just please respect the volunteers, wear a mask, stay in your car, that kind of stuff. And that's it. Now, I guess, Devin, we got some Union and MLS news.
We do.
Did you hear that there's a little tournament in Orlando?
It would have been more clever if you said a little tournament in Florida, but I know what you were trying to do there.
Well, I could have said Lake Buena Vista, but then you'd make fun of my Disney knowledge. So I wasn't going to go there.
I also know as like Buena Vista, but not because of Disney, only because the Braves used to use that as their spring training facility.
And that's where New York City's going to play their games in that tournament. They're playing in that baseball stadium.
Well, I mean, it is only demanded that New York play in stadiums for which sightlines are horrific. That is just how they operate as an organization.
So it looks like Jim leaked it. Union versus Nashville, July 9th. Are we ready for this?
I'm here for this. I mean, look, I love the fact that we're going to play two teams that we've never played before ever in this tournament. It's just kind of super cool in that respect, because it's just like, look, and first, I mean, like, I'm happy that Nashville got a team. I think Tennessee, I think the South as a whole has been underserved with the soccer, because I'm happy Charlotte's coming in too, because the South, I'm a big fan of soccer from down there. A lot of my family's from down there. So I think the getting a team in Nashville is great. I love the Union playing new teams, and I would love for them to just go spank two expansion teams in NYCF or NYUFU and move on. That'd be great.
Yeah. And when Casper was on the call on Friday, he asked, "How do you think we should do?" And I go, "You should win this thing." And he goes, "No, you're right. We should." So our striker says they expect to win that pool, and he said that they did play Miami in the preseason. And he goes, we
won 2-1.
Oh yeah. So the team's thinking they're winning that A division. So the team thinks that. How does Mr. Ownership think? Or what are we making any bold predictions?
Well, I think we look good. Look, I was in LA for the 3-3 game, which was one of the best nights of my life.
We're stopping everything else about the pod. You must tell us everything you felt. I need to hear. I need all of the emotion of that evening, because there was a 6'2" African-American gentleman running back and forth in his apartment, screaming at the top of his lungs in ways that he didn't even know he could about Norwegian center backs. So please tell me about what you were feeling. Please, I need to know everything.
Oh my God, it was just an unbelievable night, right? I mean, I remember the night before I actually had gone out for dinner with the owners of LAFC, and there was some trash talking going on there, and I'm representing the Union, but deep down I'm like, oh shit, we're playing LAFC in LA. Oh boy, I hope we don't get crushed. And I'm like, you're always praying that let's just not fall behind. Let's not give up a silly goal in the first 10 minutes, right? We've seen that a few times. Yes. And all of a sudden, boom, we score the first goal. I mean, there's no greater feeling, as you know, than going to an away stadium and scoring, right? And the place is quiet, and you guys, we're going nuts.
As loud as that place tends to be, too. Yeah. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. And, of course, they put us in the corner right next to the 32-52. And so there's a lot of trash talking, especially when we're screaming and they're looking at us like, who are these guys? So anyways, the beauty was we were never behind. We scored, they equalized, we scored again, they equalized again, and so it was just a great game where we were always in front, and our team looked great, and there's just an incredible confidence. I'm just in awe of Ernst Tanner and what he's done in terms of finding these gems, these absolute gems of players. It's been amazing, and I was excited to see Glesnes play, and for him to come out and play like that. I'm just really excited for the tournament to pick up, and I think the guys feel confident. Jim tells me that they're in great shape. That in the during the off season, they've all kept in great shape, and their fitness levels are very high, and they're excited. So, and I'm excited.
We're thrilled. And then Adam, I don't know if you heard this, but Richard whispered offline that they're planning on sending a select group of friends and fans and Sons of Ben down to Florida. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
no,
you just got to be swabbed about 17 times for COVID before they'll let you in.
So I'll bathe in rubbing alcohol if I could go watch a game live.
My lovely sister went to some of the lovely protests, and that happened in Philadelphia, and then she proceeded to go to Rite Aid and just get swabbed deeply in the nose canal. And if someone told me you can go to Florida to watch the Union play, I would say take 2 of them. Maybe even a 3rd if necessary. Make sure that I am prepared. I will quarantine. What is the hotel? Is it the Swan? Is it the Flamingo? Is it the
Swan and Dolphin?
Dolphin and Swan.
Okay, yeah. I thought it was the Chinchilla. Okay, cool. It's not the arachnids. That's fine. No.
I found out where the Sixers are staying when they're down there, Adam.
You shut your mouth.
That?
I don't care.
I did.
First off, let's pretend like that season's happening. But that's another story for another day. No. But like legitimately, there was the idea of Union soccer right now is actually really exciting. I was watching the Premier League today, and for the love of God, what the hell is wrong with Arsenal? I don't know what. That is just awful. But anyway, like legitimately was excited, not because I was watching the Premier League, but I was just like, eventually this will be the Union, and eventually I will have, my boys to watch again. And it's just everyone who's a big soccer fan in this region started as a fan of someone else. We all, whether it was the local teams that were here, I was a low-key DC United fan. Like, not enough to go to physical games, but if they did well, I was okay with it. I was never going to root for New York. But it was just like that kind of thing. But the Union in just the 11 years have gone from like, hey, my club of my city to my favorite club. So it's just to see that my favorite club is about to get going again. That's getting me more excited than Bundesliga, than the Premier League, than anything else,
Yeah. And I as much as I hate it for the sort of the jinx value and the curse value, but, when you see the pundits start to sort of predict that we're going to be the winners of our group and, all that, it's still, it feels, there's a sense of pride there.
But like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
The team's good enough. We can play with like that game in LA. You should have grinned at Mia Hamm Garcia Parra and said like, yeah, what? We're here. Like, I don't know if you thought, but like this is what we are now.
Yeah, shove it, Will Ferrell. Shove
right?
it.
What you got, Magic Johnson? But like seriously though, it's that to me. And I told Matt all the time. I went on a couple of my friends' podcasts who are Viking Army fans from the Red Bull, and even they were like, yo, that game was fire. They were like, wow, that was the best game of the season so far. And I'm like, obviously it's a short season, it's a small sample size, but like that could hold up for a while as the best game of the year. That's a thriller, and that has our team in it. Like, I remember when the new MLS anthem came out, we were the only club that didn't get featured in their little video. They were like, oh, let's show you 3 different versions of Seattle fans and all that. But, oh, yeah, Philadelphia, nah. But I'm just like, no, that's right. We'll just win trophies. That's fine,
That's it.
Yeah, Alexi Lalas was on the pod, and he said the same thing. I don't remember if it was during the recording or off, but he goes, that game was fantastic. He was just so blown away by it that, and I'm excited because I think the team, the way Ernst has built this team, they're the depth in different positions, and we don't go into a lot of X's and O's on this, but they're built for this kind of tournament. I mean, you've got Corey Burke coming back in midseason form from Austria. They're done July 4th, and we start July 9th. We've got four forwards that can just pump in. So handling all this, we're going to be able to grind teams down throughout this and hopefully come back in August with a tournament trophy and some
Champions League spots,
Champions League spots, and ready to go. And God willing, in August, when we're allowed back at Subaru Park, maybe there's a certain amount of fans that can be in there. If not, I'm just going to be standing in front of the gate, shaking the gate, trying to get in. But yeah, that's what we're all hoping for, to get back to that and get back to cheering for the team.
For sure.
Devin, do we have any more to wrap up? Because I know we're getting close to the hour mark. Do we have
You wrote down one question here. I want you to ask this last question. We'll wrap up here.
Well, do you want to do it in my voice? Because I don't know which question it is.
I got to impersonate Matt.
Yeah, if I have to do Union Hulk, you have to do me.
Oh, no.
All right, so we really want to know what this
We really want to know, guys. Like, when we do all the things and we're handling our business, but we really want to know.
All right, Rich, who is your favorite player on the team?
That's a tough one.
That's a rude-ass question, Matt. I just want you to know that.
Devin asked that one.
30 immediate enemies.
Yeah.
If I were to
Tim has said
Yeah.
Elsinho's his favorite player, if that helps you out.
There you go.
Tim McDermott has gone on and said that. So,
It's so hard. That's a really.
It's like asking the question of who's your favorite kid, right? Like,
that's really tough. I love them all, but I will give a special shout out to our captain Ali Bedoya, because not only is he a great player, but he speaks his mind off the field, and he's a leader, and he represents us well, and I respect that tremendously.
I don't know if anybody saw it this week, but he was on ESPN this week.
Yeah.
And like,
Always spicy.
Couldn't be any more prouder of the person he is, and just willing to speak his mind, and it's so great to have him as the captain.
Well, it's great to have him as the captain, and then there are personalities on this team that you're starting to see, where in years past it was, we had a Latu and maybe a Roger Torres that you loved their work ethic on the field or their skill on the field, but besides maybe Danny Califf and Connor Casey, there weren't a lot of off the field personalities that you're like, man, that's a guy I want to have a beer with. Where this team, from top to bottom, except for Aronson, because he's not old enough to drink, there's not a guy on that team I wouldn't want to have a beer with and just talk about life in general, let alone soccer and their career.
You can drink when they play Toronto.
Very true.
The silver linings of everything. But yeah,
and Montreal,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. We're Montreal.
But not Vancouver. Fun fact. Because the drinking age in British Columbia is 19. Found that out. That's weird. It's 18 everywhere else in the country. It's 19 in Vancouver.
No,
in
Toronto is 9. Toronto is 19.
Toronto's 19 too. Okay,
Montreal's 18. You're talking to a Montrealer here.
Love that. So what the real reason why I found that out was when I believe it was the either Canadian or the United States women who won the gold medal in the Vancouver Olympics, and one of them could not drink because they were 18, not 19, and it was like in British Columbia you had to be 19. I was like, oh, come on. Like, they won a gold medal. Let's just come on, But I respect that. And much respect to Quebec. I love it. I love it up there. I used to spend a lot of my my winters up there snowboarding. Love that place.
I love Montreal. Beautiful city. All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps up the Casper Shabilko number 23 episode with what I'm going to call Union Legend. Richard, thank you so much.
Matt, Devin, thank you guys so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you guys if you'll have me sit up there with the Sons of Ben, there's nothing I like more.
If we'll have you.
I was able to do it incognito a couple of years ago with my kids. I sat up there. I'd love to do it again next.
You did it with us at Red Bull, and I didn't even notice either.
True.
You're fine, man. Come on down.
You are more than welcome. We'd love to have you, and then make sure you come by the tailgate to say hi to everybody, because I know everybody would love to meet you. And everyone, thanks a lot again for a successful week. And remember, wash your hands.
Not the main game.
All right, it's recording.
Damn it! Because we're probably not going to have Matt show up on this, and if he does, it's going to be really funny that we're going to be recording midway through it. It is time for the Fusion Hour, and here's the fun fact. I really hope you have music for this. I haven't listened to the last 3 podcasts, so I don't know if you actually put music behind this, but whatever. We're going to pretend you do!
There's been no music.
There's been no music. That's fine, I'm going to pretend you do! It works better if it's in my head anyway. So, the Philadelphia Fusion decided to do the things that the Philadelphia Fusion love to do, which is get another W. That's right, people. They are 14-1 on this season. Yes, the May Melee does not count, even though the Florida Mayhem seem like a very scary team and dangerous to me in the future. Right now, you have the Philadelphia Fusion with a 14-1 record. Matthew joins the minute halfway through it. I love it. So, Matt, we were talking about the fact that the Fusion got another dub, a 3-0 sweep of the Houston Outlaws this week, and it was not even close. Map 1, they took a 2-1, a classic Fusion domination when you have a guy like Carpe who just sits and eats. He eats his food. He puts the food in front of his table, he cuts it with a fork and knife, and he consumes it. That's what Carpe does. Carpe got so many kills as a tracer this week, it was unbelievable.
How did Dipsa do? Because I have him in my fantasy league.
So here's the fun fact. I'm going to assume Dipsa is Chipsa, and they still are not playing Chipsa because Doomfist is not really a valuable player in the Overwatch League, but he is the best Doomfist player. And we could talk about the Doomfist tournament. I think we actually did talk about the Doomfist tournament last week, so we just need to move on from that, but that's okay.
So Dipsa didn't get me any fantasy points.
Dipsa did not, but Chipsa is coming back next week, I'm assuming. But Carpe kept his MVP mentality up. Alarm continued to be the individual that we need him to be as Rookie of the Year candidate on his support, which is fantastic. Funny Astro did Funny Astro things. And Hizu, now, this individual right here, when he came to the Philadelphia Fusion, I wasn't sure that he could be an individual who could complement the artistry of a Carpe. But his work ethic, especially when he throws on a little Winston action for the kids, it's fun. It's fun.
So,
it's good.
so is Poco still out there doing diva things?
First off, one of the best diva players out there in the world, Poco, and really an international sex symbol, if we're honest with ourselves here. The man, the myth, the legend, the European stallion. Yes, Poco has been not playing as much because here's the thing with the compositions these couple of weeks. Diva was out of the hero pool last week, especially with Echo as well as Moira. So, a lot of the people who I play with were out of the hero pool last week, so I got my ass kicked in competition personally. But, the Philadelphia Fusion, that's why you have so many guys. They adapt and they evolve. They got another victory, and let me tell you, Matt, this is the first in a 3-part seeding for the summer tournament, and if the Fusion continue to play at this high level, they're going to have a first-round bye in the tournament, and we're going to possibly bring some hardware back to, what should be eventually a stadium right next to the Wells Fargo Center.
When does Jay Ajayi get in, though?
So Jay Ajayi, who still, I'm coming for you, Jay. Don't you believe I forgot? Wrestling promo Adam remembers. And he will be there for you when you want to get on the Fusion or the FIFA rankings. I will be there.
Some say that Jay is still trying to win a game to this day.
Literally, there's somewhere in America Jay Ajayi has played FIFA and losing to a 12-year-old, but it's okay.
So, Devin, you've got the stopwatch. Was this the Fusion Minute, or is this the Fusion?
This has been the Fusion 5-minute segment.
Groundhog Day episode.
If anything, it's been the Fusion 3.5 minutes because there's been interruptions in it, but that's fine. But here, I will wrap it up with the following. Your Philadelphia Fusion, the best team in the literal world right now, has another matchup this Sunday, June 21st at 3 p.m. versus the Boston Uprising. Yes, the city that just apologized for being racist. Boston, Massachusetts itself. The Boston Uprising, again, also possibly the worst team in Overwatch this year. If you want to see what I'm only predicting is a dominance, which means they're going to lose because I'm the worst person at predicting things in the universe. If you want to see Fusion dominance at its peak, 3 p.m. this Sunday, hop on the Twitch stream, or hop on the YouTube or the Twitch stream. See my boy Carpe do Carpe-like things and seize the day, son.
I've never been so happy that I have scheduled a socially distant Father's Day barbecue for 3 p.m. at the marina.
That's, you can still get it on your phone, sweetie. I'm just saying. It's right there. A little YouTube action for the kids.
I don't know if I have enough minutes left. I'm not sure.
I'm mad at you that you just referenced minutes like this is 2004 again. You got daytime?
I gotta get my card.
200 texts in 1 month.
Can you call me after 7? I'm just saying, I just don't want to burn you out. I just don't want to burn your weekends, man.
Yeah, don't burn my weekend, my friends and family. Can I get the Fusion as my friends and family number?
Remember 10-10-3-2-1? That's the pinnacle of when telecommunication technology was going through their transition. 10-10-3-2-1, then the 1, and the number as usual. It'll cost you less money.
Listen, I still remember the Kerry Collins calling cards from Villanova.
Oh my god! I remember the entire cast of Third Rock from the Sun trying to advertise 10-10-3-2-1. That was fun for me. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that Fusion minute was brought to you by Matt's Grumpiness. Matt's Grumpiness. For anyone who wants to take the fun out of fun, Matt's Grumpiness.
All right. On that note, we can wrap this thing up, boys.
You got it, man.
Always a pleasure to see you, gentlemen.
I'll talk to you guys.
Talk to you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you this week.